Hi everyone, I am ZO-SANGPY again here. Today I want to show you how you can highlight your mouse cursor. The benefit of highlighting your mouse cursor is it makes it easy for people to follow with what you are explaining. So they can see where your mouse goes, they can more easily see what you are clicking on. This is some type of something that valuable, so they can see where your mouse go, they can more easily see what you are clicking on. This is something that valuable. If let's say you are doing a screen recording with some type of instruction like I am doing right now, or maybe you are on a Teams, a Zoom or Google meeting where you are trying to explain some concept and you want people to follow along with what you are explaining. The good news is it is pretty easy to create a highlight around your cursor, and I'm going to show you how you can do that without installing any software. All we are going to do is we are going to load in a cursor file into Windows. Now when you look at your mouse on Windows, that's really just what's called a cursor file. So it's kind of like a PNG or a GIF or a JPEG, and we are simply going to insert a cursor that has a hollow around it. That's so many ways to do it, a mouse cursor, but honestly that's the easy way to do. It won't require installing anything. In the same time, you will be very satisfying with this method. Alright, let's get to the point and I will show you how you can highlight your pointer. Here I am on my PC, and first off I want to show you how you can add a hollow around your mouse using functionality that's native to Windows. So first off, let's go ahead to the taskbar on the bottom, and within the search field go ahead and type in mouse. This will bring up the best match for mouse setting. Let's go ahead and click on that. This open up this mouse settings dialog, and within this dialog let's go over on the right hand side and click on additional mouse options. This opens up our mouse properties. There are a whole bunch of tabs across the top. Let's click on the one that say pointers. Once we click on pointers, you will see all the default Windows pointers icons. So you are probably familiar with this, and it shows all the different variations depending on the situation that you are in on Windows. What I want to do is I want to add a hollow around this mouse cursor, something like I use right now. Now Windows by default come with a whole bunch of different schemes. For instance, you could add any cursor you want. There are lots of different options here. However, by default Windows doesn't have one that includes a hollow around it, but don't worry, each one of these files here, this is simple an image file or cursor file, and what we want to do is we want to find a cursor file that has a hollow around it. So where you can find, or where we can find a cursor file with a hollow around it? Well, there's a lots of websites online that let you download cursor files. One of my favorite is called Real World Designer. Here's the Real World Designer website. You can navigate there by going to rwdesigner.com. I also have a link in the description on this video. If you just want to click on this website, there's lots of valuable contents here. In this website, not only we can download cursor image, on this site they also provide software. So let's go ahead and see what others have already created. I am going to go ahead and up on this top tab here, I am going to click on gallery. Within the gallery you will see a wide assortment of different cursor files. You could change your cursor to any one of these different options. So you have lots of different options. let's say you want this or you want something else, you can basically go to here to your heart's content and find something that match your personality. I want to get a halo around my mouse, so let's go ahead and search for cursor highlight. Once it come up, I see a whole bunch of options here. I am going to go ahead and order this by download. So I see what is the most popular here. I see a whole bunch of cursors that have halo around them. I can choose my color, whether I want to go with any color. I can even get a set of cursors. In this case, just keep things simple. I'm going to go ahead and download the highlight cursor file. When I click on it, this brings me to the download page. It's very small file. It is only 4.2 kilobyte and it is a .cur, which means a cursor file. Now you don't have to worry about downloading this kind of file. There is really no risk to your computer. It is simply a data file. Let's go ahead and download this file. My highlight cursor has finished downloading. I am going to right click on this and I am going to show it in my download folder. I see here that the highlight cursor is in my download folder. I could just leave it here and then browse to it in the mouse setting, but if I am planning on using this moving forward, I rather put it in a more prominent location, and I want to put it alongside all my other cursor files. What I am going to do is press Ctrl X to cut this item. I could also right click and then I am going to go down to cut. You could also copy if you want to do that, but if you copy, it will leave the original file in your downloads folder. I'm going to go ahead and cut. Next, I'm going to click on my C drive. This is where I have Windows installed, and I'm going to click on my Windows folder, and within Windows folder there's another subfolder called cursors. If we click on that, you'll see all your different cursors files that you have on your computers. I'm going to go ahead now and right click, and I'm going to paste my new cursor file in there. It will ask you to provide administrator permission because you are modifying a folder within Windows, and I'm going to go ahead, click on continue. So now you see that I have new file alongside all my other cursor files called highlight cursors, so that looks good. Let me jump back into setting. Back in setting, now what I want to do is, when I have normal select highlight tab, this is my standard mouse cursor. I am going to go to browse, and within browse, now I want to browse to the new file that I just added. So I'm going to type in highlight cursor. That will bring me directly down to the file, and now I am going to click on open. One of the things you will see now is it has my mouse cursor with the halo around it. As the normal select icon or the cursor, one thing I could do now that I have loaded this in, I could go ahead and save the scheme. So let me click on save as, and I am simply going to call this mouse one halo highlight. You can name whatever you want to name it. If I ever want to get rid of my mouse cursor highlight, I simply click up on the screen and then I can go down to none, and that will restore the default again, and that will turn off the cursor highlighter. And let's say I'm going to do my presentation and I want people to be able to follow along more easily. I simply click on scheme, go to mouse one halo highlight. Now what I could do is I can click on apply, and Here now you'll see that my mouse cursor appears with hollow highlight around it. Once I am done, I go to no apply. My hollow is gone, and here's I can bring it back again. That was the fast, easy way to loading cursor file. So I hope you can follow along with me, and if you have any trouble or if you miss any kind of point, let me know so I can answer you any type of question you have. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe my channel. So here you go, you have it now, how you can highlight your mouse cursor in PC. This method can be working in Windows 7, 8 and Windows 10. Thank you.